That hurt. More verticality. Recording in progress. All right. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Hey, and thanks for everybody who's buying all these damn shirts and mugs and stuff. This is going off the hill. Great. I like it because I can't wait to see it on TV somewhere. When that happens, we're gonna play it here. All right.
I got one email from somebody. I forgot. I'd have to go back and take a look to see who it was. But he got his shirt. He got the black TSRC shirt, and he just sent a picture of it. Like tight.
Nice.
Can't wait to see
you got a photo of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have brought that to the show.
Can pull it up.
All right.
Shouldn't take too long. I went through and I deleted almost all my emails. So,
I mean, does he look good in it?
Well, he didn't pose in it. He just posted a picture of it.
Oh, he did. Okay. Did he say the quality was up to the standards that we require from our T-shirt manufacturers?
I think he said it was garbage.
Just
kidding.
Don't say that. Not even in jest are we saying that. But I do want to. Here's my cheers to the U.S. men's national team for officially qualifying. And I do feel very relieved. Like I wasn't worried the whole night anyhow until it got 2-0 Costa Rica. And I'm like, well, there's still 30 minutes left. I think I texted you that. I said, what kind of weird shit can happen from here? And no more weird shit happened. So that's good. Not a lot of good stuff happened, but we'll get into that as well. But I don't know how you feel, but that's how I feel. Relieved, but a little disappointed in that last game. I thought, let's go out with a bang. Let's at least get a tie, but no.
Yeah, I think my response on Twitter was sufficient in the sense that it was just sort of we qualified.
Yeah, but we already knew we had qualified.
Yeah, I know, but that's the point.
It
was like the bare minimum of what we could expect in that game. It was I actually went back and rewatched it before the show.
That's painful.
And oddly enough, it wasn't as painful watching it because maybe because I knew what the results were going to be and I kind of expected things. Maybe I noticed certain things that I didn't pick up on the first time. Plus, I was a lot more sober this time around.
You were drunk as a skunk last night.
I had to go back through this morning and look through Twitter to make sure I didn't post anything too stupid. I was like, oh no, I was tweeting all night long, man.
I mean, you had the longest argument with me about Zach Steffen.
And then going back and looking through that, I feel, and we'll go over this in the video, I guess, when we talk about it, but I feel like maybe, just maybe, we just had a mixed communication as far as time frames.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. We got a whole segment that we're going to do on the non-live edition on that because it's freaking hilarious. David D. Game was a letdown, like having to take the homely girl to the prom 1 week out. I just would rather not go to the prom than take the homely girl to the prom, but I went to prom, and I have to say I did quite well for myself back before I got old. Chris Gary. We're going to the World Cup. Pop the champagne. Greg is God. No, I know you're joking, Chris. Greg is not God. But I'm very relieved that we're in the big show. Very relieved. 2-0 and a cripple in net was a bit unsettling. Not only just a cripple in net. I mean, he should have punched instead of trying to catch. He ran into his own player. The other goal wasn't really his fault. That was more of the zonal marking. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that. We have 4 players in the box that play zone and everybody else plays.
We're talking about the first goal for the corner kick?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just jump right into that, I guess. Hold on, actually. I'll just hold off on that because we do have something pop up here.
Okay.
Midnight Man for $4.99. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Will you be covering the draw tomorrow? Well, I'm going to probably cover it by myself because Brett's going on vacation, boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo, vacation, boo-ba-doo-ba-doo. And I do the boo-ba-doo-ba-doo because I don't know the goddamn words.
I am going somewhere more sunny than Indiana.
Going to go hang out with my parents down in Florida. You bastard.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice. What's your guys' nightmare and dream draw?
Oh, that's a good question.
Shouldn't that have been like Nightmare and Wet Dream draw?
Yeah, I have a Wet Dream one I've already drawn up. And but no, I don't. I have the Nightmare. Sorry. But I also have a Dream. The Dream
I haven't
one.
fully looked at the pots, and I feel like we're going to be addressing that later tonight as well.
Are we? I look at pot all the time.
Hey,
Boom. Do we cover it later on in another show? No, we don't. It's this show.
Well, yeah, the live stream, yes.
It's the live. It's the live. But you want to wait on it.
Yeah, well,
until we're so drunk we can't remember that we're supposed to cover it.
I mean, we can cover it now if you want to.
Let's do it.
Let me pull up that question as well, since we're hitting two birds, one stone here.
It's both the awesome draw that we like and the nightmare, the dream and the nightmare. All right. So let me give you my nightmare group. You ready?
Sure.
Pot 1, Brazil, then us, then Senegal, and then
somebody said that too.
That
somebody said if we get Senegal in pot 3, we're done.
Yeah, if it's Brazil and Senegal, I mean, it's going to be tough, folks. Senegal is loaded and has one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So, and has players playing all over Europe in top clubs, just like us, but they're not young. They are experienced. These guys have been through wars, club and country. So, do you think the rest of the world wants us from their pot 2 draw as we may be perceived as the weakest national team?
So
maybe. I'm sure we're one of the ones. Yeah.
For anybody who's not familiar with who pot 2 is right now, you got the Dutch, you got Denmark, Germany, Mexico, Switzerland, USA, Uruguay, and Croatia. So, yeah, I'm sure most people are probably hoping that they pick us.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that we'll be the easy pickings, but I mean, looking at the rest of pot 2, there's not a whole lot of easy pickings there either.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now because I had it up before the game.
Here's pot 1. You have Qatar, Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, England, Spain, and Portugal.
Yeah, obviously, if you're putting together the dream one, right? You want Qatar,
absolutely,
51st in the world to be in your pot, and then in pot 3, you're hoping you draw like someone like Tunisia or Poland or South. I don't want to draw South Korea. I don't like their style match against us. But Iran, that would be good because I think they're way overrated.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, there are a couple that could be questionable. But I mean, I'd almost be fun with almost anybody here. Not everybody, but almost anybody.
And then as far as whoever wins the, let's say New Zealand beats Costa Rica. Man, please put them in our group. Please put them in our group for pot 4.
Please.
So those are the dream ones. Qatar, US, I'll say Tunisia, and although Tunisia's a lot better than people think. So, and New Zealand. That's my dream for us. We're in the next round. There's no doubt, unless we totally flub something. But Brazil, us, Senegal, please, can we not do that? Can we not do that? I don't want to do that because Brazil are not only skilled.
That would leave Ecuador or Saudi Arabia for a pot 4?
Yes,
most likely. I mean, outside of who may push in here, I guess. Not Peru, obviously. Can't be Costa Rica. Might get New Zealand still, and whoever the playoff winner is on UEFA. So, yeah, it could be either.
I'll take that one too because it's probably going to be what, Wales or Scotland.
You got Poland would be scary.
Well, that's the thing about Poland. Lewandowski's like one of 3 guys on that whole team that are scary. And that's their problem, right? You can't win or you can't be a great team if you have 4 good players on it.
Can we have Qatar and Iran in the same group? I don't think we can we?
No, you can't.
So, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to get Iran if we got Qatar.
They're both in Asia. So, you can't, like, only European teams can share the same group.
Some predictions early for the group of death. Brazil 12, USA 1. That's nice that you gave us the 1.
Ouch. Damn. I don't think you can get 12 points. Oh, you mean the score? 12-1.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that bad.
No, it won't be that bad.
We're not going to win. It could be embarrassing, like a 3-0 loss or something. Samuel Lasowing, $5. Stefan, so effing sketch and inconsistency. Certainly was, and we're going to get into that in another segment. But yes, the punch out that wasn't, and the other one wasn't his fault. But then even the game before with Panama, he had that squiggly moment, or excuse me, with Mexico, where we thought, oh shit, and then it didn't go in, right? So
Yeah.
Turner may have bricks as feet, but at least he's consistent and saves damn goals. Anyone but Stefan, please. I think the issue is, unless Stefan gets alone, and we'll get into this later as well, and plays a lot, this is what he's going to look like. The problem with him playing a lot, if you've noticed and been paying attention, is that he gets injured a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you play him more, he may not even be there available for the World Cup. So maybe, what do you hope for? He plays cup games for Man City, and that's it. And then we got, Turner going to go over and do the goddamn same thing and ride pine behind Ramsdale. So, I mean, if he takes Ramsdale's spot, great. I just don't see it seeing.
Hopefully Horvath continues to play for Forest.
Someone needs to play.
Then we can go from there. But I don't know. You want to jump into the goals real quick? I mean, because I'm going to talk about them here in a sec.
Both goals? I think we've already talked about them.
Well, okay, then I'm going to just stop.
Zonal marking and
so the first goal obviously wasn't actually zonal marking. Acosta had him; he was marked, and then he lost his mark, and Zimmerman tried to back it up. And
Zimmerman was playing zone.
Yes, but Acosta was man marking him and lost his mark.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not saying that Acosta would have stopped him from getting that header, but at least add some fucking pressure to him.
Wasn't he the tallest player on their team?
Yeah.
Why wasn't Zimmerman covering him?
Great fucking question.
I mean, why would you leave him by himself? And you know who else was standing around near that too was Jedi.
So that's funny that we're going to bring him up too, because in that second goal, it was a giant clusterfuck of everything. Stefan made one save, then he made a body save, bringing back on the line just to see Jedi and Acosta both sleeping on their men on the post.
Yep.
So, yeah, Stefan had a shaky game, no doubt about it.
A lot of guys did.
Absolutely. It was not our best performance.
I mean, look at Tact. Tact and Pete gave Weah a 5 and De La Torre a 5, and every single person else on the team a 3. Every one of them a 3. Pete gave Greg a 2, and Tactical gave him a 4. Ouch! Damn, yeah. Brutal. I mean, I get it. Because they did the review night of, and it was so disappointing because you're like, I don't really have to watch this match, but I'm going to because I'm a huge U.S. men's national team fan, and I know it's probably meaningless, but can I just be entertained? And I wasn't. I think you even texted me at halftime. You're like snoozer or whatever you said.
Yeah, so but, It was bad. It was not great by any means. And again, we'll dive bomb further into this here in a bit, guys. Just covering some early super chats here. Chris Gary, 499. In the groups, no team can be from the same confederation except Europe, and at least one European team needs to be in every group.
Yeah, agreed. I thought I said that earlier. Did I not?
Yeah, no.
I did.
He's covering for other people.
I didn't know if I thought it or I said it.
Could be.
Sometimes I think things and don't say them. Chris Gary, I hope we draw Serbia. Where would you see them finishing? Brad.
Last.
Fun draw would be England. I'd love the banter. Tact is already ready. So what we're going to do once we get the pot on Friday, we're going to smoke it. No, what we're going to do is we're going to go over each group, and one by one until the World Cup, we're going to cover each group in detail and tell you where they're going to finish, who's going to be first and second, who's going on the next round. And we'll walk you through our whole make-believe, but based on some facts and predictions that are reliable. We're going to go through the whole thing, the whole World Cup and how it's going to play out. It's going to be fun.
Again, Chris, thanks for the $4.99. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, thank you, man. Thanks, Chris. Jackals. My prediction is Argentina, USA, Serbia, and Ghana. Well, man, I hope if you're that confident about that, you should start playing. What's that? What's the little thing we got going on here? The
one bet or anything like that. Whatever the fuck.
Or you start buying those little cards at the grocery store or the what is it called?
Lottery?
Lottery. Yes.
Words difficult sometimes. I feel you though. I feel you.
Fucking A. Catch 22. Except Stefan can't catch. He certainly didn't look good at it last night. So yeah, unfortunately, he shouldn't have dropped that one. But he could have had the option of having it being as crowded as it was around him, punch that motherfucker down 50 yards down the field. That's what he should have done, honestly.
Not sure what brought this one up, but no, he's not. You're right.
Nope, we had him on our show 6 years ago, and he's very much alive.
He did Chicago Fire games, and I think he's back
still
at
calling,
this season.
He's still calling some occasional games as well. I've heard him on it was one of the MLS ESPN Plus broadcasts. So he does some of the games that are on ESPN Plus that aren't on TV. So he does some of those, and it might have been that he was doing it locally. Please, Morton, I fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep, but I wanted to go to sleep. But I knew I had to cover the game. So I watched it and I kept drinking. Obviously, Brett did. But
well, how else was I going to make the game fun? No, guys, the real reason I had to rewatch the game a second time was because I remembered like what happened during the game. But my notes during the game are like nonsense.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and refresh.
Little Jim Beam nonsense on that page.
That was
what the hell game did I watch last
vodka
night?
Sprite when you can't taste the vodka and you just keep pounding them back and all of a sudden.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if we get a really good team out of pot one, I think we're okay as long as we don't get Senegal in pot three. I think we got a good chance as long as Senegal is not in pot three, or the team that gets picked for us. That's the one team we want to avoid. They're really good. So I'll take all the others. I think I could live with everybody else in pot three. Yep. So, Iran, Japan. I wouldn't like to play against Japan because their style is, well, actually, it's a lot like Mexico's style. So it might work. But they're quicker and faster than Mexico. Morocco, a good team, probably underrated here. Serbia have some great players. Serbia, I really wouldn't want to mess with Serbia, honestly. Not right now. Not with the casting of characters and the experience that team has. Poland has like four good players, one great player, three or four good players. They're a good team, but they're not. I don't think they're a real threat. I mean, they're going to be a battle. Don't get me wrong. They're very
quick,
physical. Before
we jump into that, but of course, who would imagine U.S. coming out of the 2014 Cup that had Germany and Portugal in it, or group? So yeah, that would be miracles can happen, guys.
I mean, that would be kind of a fun thing to revisit, but this is a crapshoot tomorrow, guys. Well, unless you don't believe that it is, like you believe it's all preset. But again, I think South Korea is Mexico with faster, quicker players. Tunisia. I mean, I wouldn't want to necessarily play any of them, but if we had a chance against any of these teams, it's all of them but Senegal. Like Senegal, I think, would whoop our ass. And pot four, God, I don't want to be dealing with Cameroon either. Probably not even Ecuador or Canada if I could get away with it.
Well, we can't.
We can't. Yeah, we can't. Well, that's true.
Please, Morton says we should be able to dominate Japan on set pieces at least. Well, that's assuming we can get the ball over the first man defense on set pieces.
And if I remember right, going through their lineup, they have some guys, like their center backs aren't tiny. They're like 6'1", 6'2". Like not all Japanese people are small. Not saying you were saying that. Just saying that's not true. Very short. It's not a true thing. They have some bigger guys that play in the defense. So, all right. So, what other things? Well, I mean,
hold on.
Go ahead. We got more questions.
Just a fun little question here. Yeah.
If Greg came up to you and said, "Tell me two players you want on the Qatar 2022 roster, and I can call them up," who would you pick?
First off, Derek, before you say who it is, you didn't even say his name.
What?
You didn't say his name.
Greg?
No, the commenter, the question.
Oh,
who's asking?
Lou. That S is silence, and so is the K. Luant. Luant.
He's gonna get you one of these days, Derek. I swear.
Backwards, it's Tnux. Lou Tnux. Listen, hey, if that's your name, Lou, that's good. For Lou's cunt.
Desi's going to get you, man. He is.
Everybody loves someone from that family. All right. So, no, they don't actually. No, nobody. No.
I will say, Desi, it took me a second there to catch that one. But that was good.
I caught it immediately.
I saw your handle, and I knew immediately that I should be careful reading that.
All right. Well done.
So two people.
If
you could call them two people, who would you call them, Derek?
Sargent and Hoppy. That's who I picked.
I'd bring in Scally before.
Maybe.
Before.
I wouldn't do it before either, because our problem's scoring goals. I'm not worried about our defense. We can't score. Can't fucking score. Let's give some other guys a shot. Maybe they're playing different positions or not playing as much, and just give them a go in Nations League and see how they do.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I understand both your points.
This is a dream thing, right? We can do whatever we want. So your dream can be different than mine.
I know. That's what I'm saying because I was going to say Scally and Hoppy, but then you said Sargent. I'm like, but, he'd be nice with the versatility aspect of it. No, I'm going to go with Hoppy and Scally still.
Okay. I have another question for Lou. Can we junk punch Greg after he asks us that question? Then give him the answers as he's bent over writhing?
Oh, here's another one that we didn't think about. We got Brooks.
I think Brooks is so done.
You get to force Berhalter's hand.
I know, but
we're gonna be.
I think if I said Brooks to even in this situation where Greg imaginarily comes up to me and asks me that question, and I said Brooks, he junk punched me before I could get the second player out of my mouth. So I probably would just skip it.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because we're obviously gonna be playing teams that aren't CONCACAF in the World Cup.
I think it's gonna be better for us.
Having somebody the likes of Brooks available,
I mean,
nice.
What you're saying, and this was asked to Greg today, are we going to play differently in the World Cup?
Yes.
Just like Klinsmann played way differently in the World Cup than he did leading after the qualifiers. During qualifiers, that's a totally different setup that he used in the World Cup. Totally different. And playing style. So he went ultra conservative. Let's hit him on the counter. That was his thing in the World Cup. Not how we played through all of, except for versus Mexico, CONCACAF. And so we could see the same thing from Greg, but I do have to say...
Yeah, Brian said the same thing.
We can go back. I didn't even get to see that. Tack and Pete say Brooks is getting called into Nations League. I don't know where they get that information. It's not the info I got. They might want him to, but I don't know where they got it.
I mean, you said that Tack has somebody...
He does.
Close to Brooks' camp, so maybe
Tack has some info, but I didn't hear that, and I've watched all their shows so far, so I must have missed it. Breck Shea, baby goat. Breck Shea, baby snakes is what he likes. He likes baby snakes.
Sorry, I have kids, guys. Jose, thanks for that $1.99. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Jose, as always. So what the fuck was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted?
We're talking about our two promising players, or two players we'd have called up.
So those are ours.
Yeah.
I think Brooks would be fine, but again, I think as soon as Brooks came out of mouth, he'd face palm me. Go, all right, you're done. Thank you. I think there's something, and we've said it, much wrong going on between those two.
I was going to ask if you want to take another question, but this one at least kind of correlates with that. So let's run with it.
Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on Hoppy. Realistic to see him getting meaningful minutes before end of season now that the coach got fired. You guys hearing anything through the grapevine? Oh, so I kind of blew this because I got a call from a contact and I didn't take it.
Dude, Holden's got your phone number? Shit.
So I got somebody who I mostly trust that usually gives me really good Hoppy information, except for one time. So what I'm going to say is that thoughts on Hoppy? I love the kid. I fucking love him. And I think that he's certainly better than Jordan Morris is right now. Jordan Morris is a shadow of himself. Now, maybe that gets better through the MLS season. And he's had his moments already in MLS. But boy, he just looks like he cannot make a cut. He's just fast, like in a straight line. And that's it. That's all he's got left now. So like he can't defend worth a shit. Not that he ever was like an awesome defender when he came back and helped out, but he could at least, he was quick. He could make the quick cuts and get in front of you. And he was quick and fast. Now he's just fast. Quick is gone. And yeah. More questions? Or you want to move on to some JER clips?
Yeah, let's move on to that. We're still gonna talk about the game, correct?
Yeah, we can get a little bit out of the way right now.
Sure. I do want to reiterate, because I think you mentioned it, but it's like I know the game didn't go the way we wanted to, and there's a number of games this season or this cycle that probably didn't go the way we wanted, guys, and players weren't called in or anything like that. And I know that it's kind of a cop out to say, hey, let's just be happy that we qualified, because I think that is kind of a cop out. I think you can be critical of the team, of the coach, and still obviously be happy just that we qualified. I mean, I know it should be the expectation, but after last cycle, I was kind of happy. But the thing is, I was happy about this after the Panama game, because what are the odds that we were going to lose 6-0 to Costa Rica? Well, still technically qualified regardless.
Here's my feeling. If you've ever had constipation before and you sat on that toilet for like 20 minutes, pushing and pushing and pushing, you're like, boom. Oh, I'm so relieved. And then you turn around and look at it and you're like, what? That's like an inch long. Oh, no, I got a lot more to go. Fuck, I got hours of this to go. So that's what I felt like last night. I felt like relieved. It was over, but I felt like...
Basically, you got the soccer version of an enema.
Yeah, no, we left a little turd on the field last night. That's what that was. It was a little turd. We pooped. We pooped our drawers last night. And, yeah, it was unfortunate. I didn't see... it wasn't the starting lineup. I think that... I get a lot of fiber. I haven't had that problem in a long time, by the way. It's an old problem. Cheers, gents. Thanks for all the good commentary through World Cup qualifying. Hey, we appreciate it, Brian. Appreciate the 5.
Thanks for the 5, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's been fun. And now we got a big gap to fill, don't we?
So you know what? This whole thing
this
whole thing has been very fitting, We can talk about the game after maybe the GRE, since we brought up the turd.
Yeah, Michael Kellerman's not what we left on that field last night. It was a poop. It was an actual poop. We laid a poop. And we played poorly.
Between your comparisons and not comparisons, but your analogies and Tack talking about poop on his lip. I mean,
speaking of
fucking keyboard went out and clipped that as no context, and he's like, "It's not like I got poop on my lip. I don't know what it tastes like." And so that's out there forever.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to say that. But here's the thing: it wasn't Greg's fault at the beginning of last night. The setup, at least, and the roster he picked, the starting 11. I think that was a rational roster. It's the same roster that had performed okay before. Okay, so you put him out there again. And I don't like Acosta as a 8, and he was horrible as an 8 last night.
I didn't like it going into the Mexico game, even though it turned out to be okay.
It worked out, but he was just like legit yesterday. He passed it backwards constantly.
All the time.
Yep. He didn't even bother looking upfield.
It's funny. It's funny because during the Mexico game, he was the most creative I've ever seen him as an 8.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, good gravy. No. Be back. 1 sec.
All right. I'll take it from here. So, Brett's got kids, and
we're lay down the hammer.
Show still, yeah.
Ban them. Get the fuck out of the room, guys.
Could be an ass beating come here live on the interwebs. All right.
Take the camera with me, guys.
So anyhow, I can't.
They're big Acosta fans, so they're upset that we've been talking about him like this.
Now listen. So I don't necessarily blame it on Greg, but I do blame one thing on Greg. In the second half, we were so goddamn predictable about where the ball was going to go. Like, you knew Luca De La Torre is going to start every run we do, because we weren't doing nothing down the right. Absolutely zero. So it was so predictable. The triangle passes were so predictable. How the players moved and triangulated or tried with one another was so predictable. It was so easy for them to stuff that shit. And that is what other good teams in the World Cup are going to do to us. They're going to study the film. They're going to like, this guy's no genius. Everybody knows how to defend this. And he doesn't have Liverpool either. He's not coaching Liverpool. He's coaching young kids for the most part, and not like, veterans who are the best players in the world. He's the young kids that are the best in the world. That's a big difference. So yeah, they're going to be able to shut us down if they watched any video. So
yeah, guys, it just so happened they came in during that topic. So I was like, so they're upset because he's still on the roster. Like, why can't we produce another 6?
Well, we could have started Luca De La Torre from the start, frankly.
Yep.
So there's that. Yedlin is out.
Well, no, he talks about it. I just want to bring that up first.
He just doesn't have touch. Can't keep possession. Well, I mean, he might be out in your world, but I don't think he's out in Greg's. No. I think he's still there for Greg. I think outside of Dest, his next thought is Yedlin. Although Yedlin did not have a great second game. But who did? No one did.
The line from the Bloodhound Gang's Bloodhound Gang song is like, well, I sing like an amputee. Can't hold a note. Can't carry a tune. So, I mean, Yedlin's fast, but man, every time he laid those crosses, it was just or gave enough time for the defense to get back on that. I don't know. I didn't think that was his best game either.
I didn't think it was his best, but I think he was horrible.
I don't think it was bad.
No,
I don't.
I'm going back to my chart for him, and I've got Yedlin. These are all positives: defensive, offensive,
game a 7.
pass. No. Positive. These are all the things he did throughout the game, and I charted them. So D means he did something good defensively. A means he did something good in the attack. P means he made a good pass. Steal, STL, means he made a steal. A, back in the attack. D, for another good defensive move. Another steal, and then another defensive move. Now, I thought Yedlin was actually one of the better players on the field last night. That's not saying much since most people played like fucking hot garbage.
Again, I'm not saying he had a bad game. It just there are definitely aspects of his game that needs to improve, especially for looking forward.
And once
we
get to,
I guess in fairness, we're not really looking forward much longer because after November, I mean, how many more? How old is he? He's he's in his
28.
28. Yeah. I'm sorry. There are younger bucks coming through the woodwork.
Well, so, I think you better start doing your Hail Marys for Joe Scally now. That's all I got to say. Because Joe Scally didn't even come up in the depth conversation with Greg today. He didn't even mention him. He mentioned George Bello, Sam Vines, and George Bello. That's who he mentioned today.
Well, because that's because Bello's been included in windows and Scally can't for whatever reason. I don't know. We've talked about this ad nauseum.
He got one window, Scally, and obviously he pissed on Greg's leg or took a shit in the wrong toilet that was already plugged. Didn't notice that it said "not in operation" or whatever sign, and it flooded the whole locker room, and it was a big Scally turd floating on the fucking in the locker room, and maybe that irritated Greg. I don't know. But I wish he'd be honest because he keeps using the word today, form. Who's in good form? I want to know who's in good form.
He did not bring that.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he laid that poop again.
I want to give Greg credit when he deserves it. And I think this window, I thought he did fine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a great first 2 games. I thought the second game, I can't blame him on it. He went with the same, more or less the same lineup that went against Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And they simply didn't perform. There were a number of players out there that had dead legs. I mean, Jedi, even though I thought he was fine for the most part, minus the sleeping on the second goal. I thought he was fine, but you definitely tell the miles he's being worn down. Miles were too much.
Yeah, I thought we were slower. That was the slowest we've been the whole window, and we looked tired. And I commend Greg for thinking, hey, let's just go with the best team again, minus De La Torre, and let's do that. But I think, honestly, that Acosta could have played right back. You could have had De La Torre in there, so you put Yedlin on the sideline, and I don't think there would have been much difference between Yedlin and fucking De La Torre and Acosta, frankly. But hey, bro, but wait, if we got 9 points this window, we'd be in pot 1. Yeah, it's true. No, I don't know. I don't know.
I make this argument. I mean, quite frankly, if you're looking at pot 1, you look at pot 2. I mean,
it's rough.
Yeah,
either way,
you're going to take there's somebody that's going to come through the woodwork there that you're going to have to deal with. I mean, the idea is, I guess, if you're in pot 2, you at least have a chance of getting like Qatar. And I'm not saying Qatar is going to be a pushover by any means.
I'd rather be in pot 2 and have the luck of getting one of those.
The chance.
Qatar. Yeah. Give me Qatar, man.
It's I don't know if getting into pot 1 would have helped us because pot 2 is still rough because somebody from pot 1 would have to get shuffled down to pot 2.
Portugal.
And that just means all of pot 2 would be rough.
Yeah, or whoever's the last seed in pot 1, which is
Qatar.
Yeah. Qatar.
Well, it can't be Qatar because Qatar is always going to be pot 1.
Yes. So give us Qatar. I guess that's I didn't mind being in pot 2.
I would take the chance. Yeah, I would definitely take the chance because again, the depth in pot 2 is not that much different than the depth in pot 1.
The guys that are getting screwed over the most is Canada. They won our fucking group, and they're in pot 4. So it doesn't matter what group they're in. That's going to be a rough group, and they're going to be good.
You know what? Their FIFA rankings increasing, so maybe next cycle, if they make it again, they'll see an improvement. It'll
be too late, dude. They're getting pulled tomorrow. The pot's being announced.
No. Next cycle. Not this cycle. This cycle's done. Done.
Oh.
I'm saying if they qualify next cycle, then maybe at that point they'll no longer be in pot 4 because their FIFA ranking is going to be much higher.
Next cycle.
Yes.
Next World Cup.
2000.
They don't have to qualify.
They don't have to qualify. Never mind.
So that goes out the window unless they go to Europe and play a bunch of friendlies and do real well. Or they do really well in Nations League and other assorted cups. All right. So any other questions? Or do we want to go to Greg's?
Let's go to Greg. We got other questions, but we'll pull them up.
Well, all right. We don't need to do them all at once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not blow or load early, guys. All right. Where am I starting on this fun video? I don't know, guys. I haven't watched this interview, so I'm not 100% positive what I'm walking into.
Brett likes to blow his load right after the show ends. Oh, yeah.
In fairness, that's an hour and 24 minutes later, so that's not an insult.
But he's lathering up the whole way.
The entire time, guys. The entire time. He's busy, I guess.
So first one, let's just start. Let's start with a turd at the beginning. Yeah.
Right on.
The turd goes on a rant.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You mention us by name?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Gentlemen, welcome to this call.
Can you hear that?
USMNT's national team head coach, Greg Berhalter. First of all, we'd like to thank everyone at the Port Authority and American Airlines for helping support our opportunity this morning to have you speak with Greg. If you'd like to get in the queue to ask a question, you may do so by virtually raising your hand. As you know, last night, the United States qualified for its 11th World Cup, 7 of the last 8 tournaments. This will be the youngest U.S. men's national team to have qualified for the World Cup. Also, Greg becomes the first USMNT player to also coach the national team to a World Cup.
That's an abstract fact. Who cares?
How is he not blushing at this point? He's doing.
I don't really care if he's the first American player to ever do this. We had a World Cup winner coaching us 2 coaches ago named Jurgen Klinsmann. I don't care if he's the first American player.
He happens to be the first coach named Greg Berhalter.
Yeah. He's also the first coach who was born with a tail, which was surgically removed in birth. Okay, thank you, turd. The turd about, I admit it, I like the sound of my own voice. Blah, 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 blah. It's just the way you say it, too. It's just like you really don't give a shit, but you got to say it.
Do you need to fluff is my question. That's the big thing. I mean, seriously.
Everybody doesn't need a fluffer.
All of this is known. They've been talking about all cycle. You know,
Greg's already
squad. He has such a great win record.
Yeah, Greg's already
not fucking new.
Greg is already rock solid, hard on his own, about himself. We don't need to puff and fluffer up Greg. He's ready to go already. He doesn't like these interviews, but he's already rock solid.
I mean, the turd's comment here is pretty fitting for where I stopped the clip at.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot to cover in here, honestly, to be honest with you. So we can move to 209. And this is about personnel and depth. And this is a little interesting. Notice the players he discusses and mentions.
Is this what we were talking about earlier?
Kind of. Yeah. With Scally. Yep.
Personnel-wise, are there any...
I don't think that the future that the Disney company is building today is the future that Walt Disney.
Go away.
particular parts of the field that you're looking to focus on? I mean, obviously, the players that were available were the ones that were available, but I mean, are there any particular areas of the field that you're looking to focus on, or maybe give some guys a chance that you weren't able to bring in before? I mean, how's that changed?
I like this question.
Yeah, let's pause it because we don't want to get struck again, guys. We got a couple super chats pop up here.
Okay. He's wrong. Bruce Arena had one cap as a player. What?
Flush.
Not that. Nah. Seriously? I've
That's
never
possible.
heard of
Let's
this.
see, Bruce Arena. We can
Eldon, you better not be setting us down a dark and blurry road.
1973, United States, one appearance, no goals.
Okay. Eldon, you get the fucking post of the night, dude. Way to inform us. I had no idea Bruce Arena had ever played, so I
Neither
guess
did I. I just thought he was a college coach.
the turd lied. He
That
just
son
lied.
of
He
a
didn't get
bitch.
his facts straight. That's his job. That's the only thing he has to do. Get my facts straight. That's it. That's all he has. And then talk like this. Greg Berhalter is the first American coach to ever have a team under the age of 23 average to qualify for the World. They will be the youngest team at the World Cup. Eldon.
Bruce didn't know either.
Bruce used to put him down in the old days. He might not have known. Jose Lopez, 199. They announce him like the Emperor of Rome.
Really does.
And now
Seriously.
your
It's-
Caesar
or-
and leader,
Or it could
Greg
be
Berhalter,
now entering the ring,
the
the Wild
champion
Stallion.
of all champions, the Nations League holder of the trophy, the Confederations Cup lover of all trophies, the guy totally just destroying Mexico at
Dude,
every opportunity.
I really think there is a chance that we need to do like a bad lip reading with D-Rec or Gizmo. My bad. Sorry.
You just have
rest in
D-Rec.
peace.
D-Rec, yeah, rest in peace, D-Rec. But Gizmo's still around, and he's got the genes. Yeah, I would love to do I think I could do a bad lip reading of
And
Greg
the
Berhalter.
last presser where they were in some form of like airport hangar and you couldn't hear anything. That would have been the perfect time. The perfect time.
I can do it with any of these, though.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. So you just need some ambient noise, and then I try to lip read him the best I can. My name, Greg Berhalter. Me like Goofy and jerky and coffee and shoes. Back pass. Me good. All right. Here's Gary.
He would be a better press officer. Yeah.
Oh, he'd be much more fun to listen to. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. We got more questions? We're not moving to...
No, let's move on with the video here.
Let's do Greg.
Greg's comment to who he wants to bring in.
Guys that he thinks are worth looking at going forward. They're minimal people, but let's listen to them.
What I would say is that when we're healthy, we have pretty good depth. I think that left back could be a position where the reserve hasn't established themselves yet.
Ouch!
It hasn't come out. So that's something that we're continuing to look into, and George Bello and Sam Vines and
Joe Scally
continue to develop at their clubs.
Joe,
when was the last time Vines was called in?
We're pretty well set. Wingers were pretty well set. Center backs, we have a number of them when we're healthy. Goalkeeper, same thing. And
Brooks is 8th in my depth chart.
The number 9 gets good form and continues to push, whether that's Ricardo or
our number 9s have sucked.
Gordon or Jesus, whoever that may be, or Josh Sargent even. We're hoping that one of our 9
Josh gets a shout out
by the time the World Cup comes around.
Jesus
That's right.
Christ.
I said a shout out, not a shout out, a shout out.
I mean, Greg literally it's like he looked at a list of our player pool and just started saying names.
Well, apparently Scally's not on that sheet.
No.
I mean, he's not even in Greg's subconscious, let alone his conscious.
It gets me. I mean, I guess you can make the argument with Bello. He's a true left back. He's playing in Bundesliga now, getting minutes here and there. But are we? I mean,
he didn't even mention Brooks.
Vines? Are we still talking about Vines over Scally at this point?
Can't.
He doesn't consistently play for Antwerp.
I know. And yet Scally, because of injuries, been playing a lot in the Bundesliga, and he's done some great things in the Bundesliga. But again, we don't know what happened between Greg and Scally. Did Scally get there and goof off a little too much? I mean, I was known for that. Like I always got in trouble for goofing off at practice.
Dude, so Gladbach posted, "Hey, USA, congratulations, USA, you qualified for the World Cup. But what about this guy?" And it was a picture of Scally, and Scally liked it. He gave like a red, white, and blue hearts for it.
Hey, man.
I mean, he's wanting to get called in, so I don't think goofing off necessarily was likely the case. I think he wants to go and prove himself, but maybe and Greg could come out and flat out say, "Hey, we don't play a system where Scally might benefit from." I mean,
but that's bullshit. I understand the Brooks argument because Brooks doesn't, but Scally's perfectly fine at left or right back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely plays more. He plays more of a wingback for Gladbach, anyways. But
no, it's been half and half. I mean, it's been half and half. Okay,
he's been playing a lot. Stupid. This is stupid.
It's just dumb. Like Scally's played straight up left back. He's played straight up right back. He's played right wing back. He's played left wing back. So did Yedlin while he was at Galatasaray. Who cares? He's good at that position, and he's a good defender too. Generally, maybe like we talked about before, it's about the system, and Greg's like, I got my system, and this fucker doesn't know it, and he's so dumb he couldn't learn it after one, so it's going to take 3. I don't know if he's saying that, but it's sure not even mentioning his ass here. That's just insane. You're going to talk about Bello and Vines first? Really? Okay. All right.
Again, I guess you can argue that they're true left backs. Okay, fine with that. Why is Dest our backup left back then? We didn't call Bello up until Dest was injured.
And Bello got 0 minutes. That's how much trust we have in him.
So I mean, that's it. That's up to him too. I mean, like our left backs haven't really established themselves. I'm like, well, that's because you don't play them. First off, I'm fine with Jedi playing. I like him the best at left back at this point. But again,
he's fit as hell.
Yeah, and if you're gonna start spouting off true left back options as your depth, then there's 0 reason why we should be calling in 4 right backs. And then just utilizing Dest as your backup.
I mean, there are 8 months to go, so shit can change. But right now, it's kind of sad to see, like the total, like Joe who, the Gladbach kid. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do.
I gotta say, this presser right here on JER Sports has 214 views right now. We've got 150 people watching this video.
Well, good. That's awesome. Now, JER Sports is where we go because hopefully there's less likely chance we're going to get nabbed for something. But we'll see some. We'll see.
Is this up on the US Soccer page now?
I don't know. It came up because I'm a subscriber to this dude. All right. And you should be too, Brett. All right. Let's go to 6'10", and these are emerging players. So
I'm expecting to hear Scally here, right?
No, you're not. I don't remember him being in there.
He looks so interested every time I click on a point.
He looks like a Klingon. He's about as animated as Spock. He does smile at the very end of this.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Greg, really appreciate you doing this. Congrats on last night and the whole cycle.
Yeah, congratulations.
Hilton, let's jump in.
She's gonna splat. Oh no, I thought she was diving off the building.
Kind of following up on Jeff's question from earlier, I guess, how much, as you went through qualifying even earlier, have you thought about the composition of an eventual World Cup roster? And then what are the chances that a player who emerges in several months but maybe hasn't had much experience with the group previously could be a part of it? And then also just a kind of an aside, would you support the expansion of World Cup rosters from 23 to 26?
Hell yeah, he would.
I would definitely support that. I think that's a great call to be able to choose from 26 players for a 23-man roster.
It's going to be 26.
Today, that makes a lot of sense.
But not 28.
Given we don't know where COVID will be at the time of the World Cup, and given the fact that the World Cup's in the middle of the season, where guys could be up a little bit.
That's my worry.
I think that's a strong idea. In terms of the first question, we're open to anything. Any player that emerges, we're open to looking at them and giving them an opportunity. That's been our stance since day one. And if you're performing at a high level, you'll get an opportunity.
Bullshit.
Just like if guys haven't been involved in a while, they still have opportunities based on what they're doing. We don't close the door on anyone. It's a
kind of seems like that
group, a welcoming group. It's a close team, but we also want to be successful. And we want to have the best possible roster that we can. So if a player does emerge over these next 8 months, we'd certainly be looking at them.
I would settle if you looked at some of the players that have emerged 7 years ago.
Or players that
last year.
7 months ago emerged.
Yeah, it's like we don't shut the door on anybody. I'm like, man, it kind of seems like that, man.
Listen, I'm not trying to kick Greg in the nuts here. I'm just saying, listen, you got to be serious about this discussion, and if you're going to continuously use the word form, then you're going to have to be more specific, because that's obviously not what's going on, because Brooks is in form. All right. Scally seems to be in more form than Bello, even at left back. So I don't know what you're talking about at this point. So if you're going to say it, then you're going to have to explain it to me. That's all. That's all I ask. Mm-hmm. Don't take me for a dummy. I'm not taking this overarching, generalized answer to this question and be like, okay, Greg said that. Okay, get it. Let's move on. I got more questions now. Yeah. And then the last one is on us.
It's us.
2045. It's all about us. Greg takes on the straight red card.
2045?
2045.
I hope he does, and I will clip it and throw it in our intro video.
This is where he says, those guys suck. Here we go.
Yes.
Commercials.
Yeah, hey, Greg. Thanks, Michael. Greg, if you could look back on the past few months, or I guess a few years since you've gotten the job on a personal level, there's still a decent amount of negativity and frustration among some fans. I think a lot of it left over from the last cycle. I'm assuming it doesn't affect you as a coach at all, but on a personal level, has that affected you at times at all?
I will flat out state that I think Greg has unsubscribed to us. He was listening to us for a while there, but I feel like he's unsubscribed to us.
Yeah. It's all right. He unsubscribed from Jimmy too. It's all right.
I want to say from the get-go when Greg got hired, I was one of the few people on social media, and I know that we weren't back yet as a show, but I was one of the few people on SBI, on Facebook, and I think our Twitter was non-existent at that point, more or less. But stating, hey guys, let's give him a chance. Let's see what he can do. And then over time, he whittled me down.
What was your SBI name? It wasn't Brett, was it?
It's Brett, yeah.
I don't remember seeing you on there that much. But then again, I didn't usually.
I'm on there a lot less now.
Well, yeah, because it's a pay-to-play game now.
Exactly.
Fuck that. I got enough fucking subscriptions I'm dealing with that are like
more
loaded.
Power to him. I'm hoping he's making a hell of a lot more bank than what he was.
Maybe. But, well, let's see how Greg answers this question of the straight red card being so negative. I'm kidding, of course. He's just generally dealing with negativity in general here. How does Greg deal with it? Greg burns bridges faster than the atomic bomb. Fair criticism is not negativity. That is absolutely correct. Did he just ask if it hurt his feelings? Yes, he did. That has to hurt your feelings, Greg.
There you go. That's a great one right there.
Yeah, I'm sure Greg.
1.3 million. Oh my God.
I'm sure Greg doesn't like it. If I were the coach of the team and they were criticizing me, I'd be like, God, I wish those guys would fucking quit clipping me in the nuts.
I'm just saying that if I was the coach of the U.S. national team and I was making 1.3 million a year, I wouldn't be on social media. I wouldn't hear any of this garbage until somebody's like, "Hey, dude, you hear about what they're saying about you?" I'm like, "No." Life moves on. Guess what, guys?
Yep.
Twitter is not real life. So it's
The only persons
surprise.
informing Greg of the actual media, general media bubble sphere or whatever, are the people that work in the marketing department at US Soccer, because they're tracking this shit. Like, they're following it. You know, Michael Cameraman knows who Pete is and knows who Tactical is,
Clearly.
know who we are. And so, listen, they are tracking independent media. They don't like everything they're hearing, trust me. But they're thinking about engaging. We'll see what happens. Vince O, Facebook, you look great for being 90. Me?
I talked about Facebook, so he's talking about me. All the young kids are getting off Facebook. It's all old people nowadays. You got to go on Instagram or
There are still some young people on Facebook. But
insert random social media here. You know, guys, social media is a plague. The only reason I'm on Twitter is I enjoy your guys' company.
yeah, but
the
Facebook
bulk
started
is
out
garbage.
so good. It started out so good. And then it turned into a plague. And I think Twitter started out okay. Like, everybody was using the basic, like, social skills. They're like, yeah, you know, keep it cool, blah, blah, blah. And then it just got worse. It turned into like big soccer, like 2009. You know, everybody's calling everybody a bitch. And, you know, it got nasty. All this stuff is nasty. That's why I'd rather communicate through this. So if I have an argument with somebody, like, let's say I disagree with Pete on something, I can say it here and you'll get the context.
Yep.
Like,
I was gonna say, you would struggle with Twitter in the sense that you'd have like a 10 thread long response to somebody just to get your point through, because 260 some odd characters is just not enough to really strike your point unless you're just being snide. The royal you or the royal we.
You're saying I'm long-winded. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to talk, but I take social media and I like to joke. So I don't. 260 is pretty easy for me because I just make snide retorts most of the time.
That seems to be working. Glad I'm not there. Although sometimes I want to support you, but then I'm like, oh, I read
like,
that.
Long thread here, 1 of 100.
I'll read the threads you send me on my phone. I'm like, God damn, I'm glad I'm not answering that question, because I'd punch that fucker in the mouth. Not in a physical way, but in a verbal way. And then I'd be kicked off Twitter. So that's why I'm not there. All right. So let's
listen to how
Greg's
Gibraltar's
answer.
hurt feelings may not be so hurt or might be hurt. We'll see.
I think he's tougher than you think.
You're not a dish.
I'm not a dish. You're
You're
right.
a man. Most name brand bars and body washes you.
I'll accept that one.
About it, I think it's this job is about winning. Americans want to see us win every game.
Okay, pause that. No, pause that.
It is.
This is not correct. I don't care. Yes, I want to win. But when we lose or when we tie, I just want us to play well. Like, if we lose and we played well and we showed promise and we had opportunities and the shit just wasn't finished, and we lost an occasional game because of that. But that first tie against El Salvador in El Salvador is unacceptable. I'm sorry. It
The
is.
tie in Jamaica was unacceptable too.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry. That's where the criticism comes in.
Going to Mexico. If you take the Mexico game, let's change history here. Let's say Mexico ended up slotting one of their very few chances. Let's say that happened. And you look at that whole game as a whole, I would come away saying, like, oh, it's unfortunate we didn't get the win, guys, but we had our chances. We could have finished it. I thought we did well. You know, that's a bit different.
We got a tie against Mexico. I was perfectly happy to live with the way we played and the opportunities that we created and just didn't finish. But I came away from that game thinking that's not bad. When I come away from a game like a 0-0 tie in El Salvador to kick off the whole World Cup qualifying, and I watch that worries me. Just like the next game, a tie against Canada, that worried me. Just like the loss against Panama at Panama, that worried me. I'm thinking about Jamaica, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. The loss against Canada away. I mean, we had bad games, and this last game was the worst of almost all of them.
Talking about the home game, though, the 1-0 win against El Salvador at home.
That wasn't that great either.
That was sketchy. We got the one goal, and I was like, oh, my God, thank you.
We honestly have played 5 good games in the whole window. 5. The win against Honduras, which is 4-1 after a horrible first half. The win against Mexico, 2-1 at home, I thought was good. The win against Honduras, 3-0 at home, was good. The win against Panama was very good. And the tie against Mexico away. Those are the only 5 games out of all of the games we played where I came away thinking at least we played well. That's not enough games for me.
Mm-hmm.
I need less bad games. I don't need another tie at El Salvador, a tie at home versus Canada, a loss against Panama, 1-0 away, another bad loss or a tie against Jamaica away, and a loss to Canada away, 2-0. Bad. And then this loss to Costa Rica. Very bad. The other ones were bad. This one was very bad. So listen, it ain't all roses and shit. So has Greg got us to the big dance? Yes. Good for him. But it ain't going to stop me from being critical. Just made it up. Still fuming over last night's game. We play like that in the World Cup. We won't make it out of the group stage. No, we won't. We'll be an embarrassment.
That fits right into what we're just talking about. The main reason why I brought it up is that there are bad games out there, guys, and it's going to happen. We need to talk about it.
But there shouldn't be this many bad games.
There shouldn't be, no. For whatever reason, there's a lot. People keep bringing up chemistry, but most of these players have been playing for like the last year and a half straight. A couple injuries here and there, but it's the same crew, minus a couple players here and addition of a couple players there.
Yeah, I don't care because on paper we were always still the better team, even with losing certain players. We still had the best players on the field. And we didn't play that good. On certain games, I just pointed out all the games that weren't good.
Mm-hmm. Going into the mentality, I saw a couple of people posting it up here about how, when was the last time we ever won in Costa Rica? We've never won in Costa Rica.
I don't give a shit.
That's got to end, guys.
It's got to end. I mean, got to end.
Historically speaking, never won in Costa Rica.
This ain't 1994.
Never beat Mexico in Azteca or wherever, in a qualifier. So
it's the best team we've ever had.
At some point, that has to change.
Best team. Yeah.
What point will we say going into Costa Rica, yeah, we should win this game? At what point are we going to start saying that? That's the big thing, guys.
Mexico went away and won games. Canada went away and won games. We didn't. That's why we ended third.
Hey, we went away and won a game.
I think, yeah. But it was one, wasn't it?
It was one.
Honduras.
We tied a couple, I guess.
Yep. This is not the height of our expectations here. And listen, like I said, Greg got us to the big dance. He did his job at the most basic level. It was third instead of fourth. We don't have to go play that extra game against New Zealand. Thank God, because anything could happen there. So at least he got us in. All right, let's let Greg answer this goddamn question.
I forgot we're still in the middle of a question here.
In an hour in here already. How would an hour pass already?
You don't. And I know that's what I signed up for. So it's something that you just accept when you're in this role.
That's right.
If you accept it, you're going to have a very difficult time. I know that the majority of the fans are supportive of the group, supportive of what we've been doing. They've seen the rise, they've seen the progress.
I wanted to stop it there when I maximized it, but I don't think anybody who's criticizing Berhalter in this doesn't want to see the group win. I don't know if there's a single U.S. men's national team fan out there that wants to see us lose.
But then we had Lawless telling us the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He said, if you criticize Greg or you're negative on Greg.
But if you want Greg out, the only way he's going to get fired is if the team fails. So clearly you must want the team to fail.
I mean, that's logical because that is the only way that Greg's going out is if we fail.
Well, Greg, yeah. There are other national teams that could still be, winning games, but the federation will look at it and maybe say, well, this coach is underperforming. We need to get somebody in there that's going to rectify this. I mean, Tata was on second and third spot all cycle long.
Fuela Tata.
He's been playing. I mean,
Fuela
this team's been playing like
Tata.
shit, but they were no different, and they ended up higher than us. But their media, their fans, all
Well, they're all over his
bitch
nuts.
gotta go, you know.
Oh yeah, I
So-
mean the chants all game long in the last game that they won. Fuela Tata, boom, 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 boom. Fuela, the whole game, the whole fucking game. They're like out with
They were
fucking Tata.
they were olaying their own team.
Guy is assassinating straw men. What?
Pretty much. Yeah, the
Oh.
argument that
You mean
the vast majority of people want us to succeed. So basically, those people who are criticizing me clearly don't want us to succeed. Is the straw man he's referring to?
Oh, see, I was offended personally because during my French class in fourth grade, I was named Guy. That was my nickname.
Ye-
So when he said Guy,
Okay,
I thought he was talking about me.
I think for the most part he's been spot on with this answer. Quite frankly, outside of the straw man that he brings up, you know, when you take this position, there are going to be people who are going to be critical of you. Then there are going to be some people who are going to fondle your nuts. It doesn't matter. I mean, you just got to be strong about it.
Yeah,
And
you can't take the fondling as a positive, and you can't take the negative as a negative. You've got to focus on your job and what you got to do to win. And I like that Greg said basically, hey man, if you want to junk punch me online, go ahead. I mean, it's just part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, all you people worried about over being toxic and overcritical of Burl, he just gave you a pass. He just said, go ahead. I'm gonna take it like a man.
Stick it to him.
All right, let him finish.
Let's finish it up, I guess.
Yeah.
We're in 15th in the world now, FIFA ranking. We dropped as
Yay.
low as
Way to go.
20. So the team has made a ton of progress. And by the way, we're playing with the youngest team in the world.
We heard.
So all these things are really positive.
Heard comment.
The terms
for us,
going,
it's just
I can't believe
about
you just
staying
repeated that.
grounded and focusing on how to keep getting better.
Okay. And one last one.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah. And this is on, do we play differently at the World Cup, Greg? You going to play differently?
Great question.
Greg, you going to do something different in the World Cup, Greg? 22-30.
We're going to set 10 people in the box.
22-30.
22-30? Oh, wow. Look at
Yeah.
that. I was already on it.
Awesome. Like flies
I
on
didn't
shit.
know. Yeah.
The tournament itself, and Ryan sort of alluded to this. Do you think you have to play differently once you get to Qatar? And I know it'll depend on the draw. But and if so, do you have to prioritize different qualities in players for the main event as opposed to qualifying? Thanks again.
Some players will have to have bigger balls.
I was asked another question about what's the difference between the World Cup and World Cup qualifying, and they're different games. They're different games.
One's dirty balls. The other ones are clean balls.
I think the atmospheres are a lot more controlled.
Clean balls.
The conditions are standardized.
Clean.
So it's a lot more predictable.
Proper
in
size
a sense,
fields.
But the levels.
They've taken showers.
I think our guys can.
You got clouds that
easier.
spray mist
That
everywhere.
will be something where our guys are used to playing with top players in the world, and this will be another opportunity for them to do so.
Not those fucking pieces of shit in CONCACAF.
Specifically in June and in September, we're looking to play
Fucking
the
minnows.
confederations that we haven't played yet, and Africa. We haven't played African teams yet
Because we're racist.
from Asia, and that's something we want to
Because we're racist.
play against as well, and then potentially South America and Europe, and just continue to get experience with different forms of different styles of play, different ways to approach the game, and just see different opponents as we prepare for the World Cup.
We want to see all of that
Thanks,
lined
Greg.
up naked on the wall before we make a decision. No, I mean, I think he answered that pretty well. Are we going to play differently? He said in no way that we are. But I think we're going to match up better with other teams in the World Cup because the fields will be regular. There will be
standardized size.
Yes, it's going to be like all the shit all our European players that play in Europe are used to. That is going to help.
But again, I mean, we're actually quite fortunate because, Qatar is pretty hot. It's going to be rough. But they did say that they were going to create robotic clouds that would spray mist on everybody.
Well, the crazy thing, they've already done the whole, mapping out of what the weather's going to be at that time. It's going to be in like the 70s and 80s, so it's not going to be that hot. Yeah, it's really not.
Are they going to play every game at 2 a.m.?
I don't know. Good question. When do the indoor air conditioners kick on in the stadiums? So I don't know the answer to that either. But apparently they have those things, and the field temperature is going to be like in the 80s. So I think we're going to be fine. So not that's something that we got to worry about. That's something like, Nordic teams would have to worry about, like Denmark and, teams that play up north in cold weather.
I mean, when you get up that far north, man, people start having to go to the hospital for heat exhaustion in 75-degree weather. It's like,
is that true?
They always talk about it in England, like, oh my God, somebody went to the hospital for heat exhaustion. I'm like, it was 82 degrees. Just like,
that's not really that hot.
It's funny because Europeans come to America to sightsee and tour and everything like that, and a little vacay. And they bitch because the AC kicks on inside the hotel room and they freeze to death. But I'm like, if you take away the AC, you'll really die from heat exhaustion.
No shit. So
come to Indiana in the dead of summer.
I know.
Turn off the AC. Open up a window. I dare you.
I've walked 9 holes with my mom, and 96-degree weather on a golf course where there are not enough trees for shade,
no wind. There's no, oddly enough,
and I'm hungover,
yeah.
And I have no water.
Either,
I had no water. I just had like these soda drinks, and I was like passing out, dude, or ready to pass out. My mom's like, "Here, have some water," because like there was one tree on the whole course, and we went under it. I went under it, so I'm like, I'm dying. I'm walking 9 holes in 96-degree heat, and it's like 110 on the whatever. That's how it feels with the humidity. And so, I got that. Oh, man, I splashed that water all over and I drank it and splashed it all over and drank it. I was fine for the next 3 holes. We got through it. But like on hole 5, I was in trouble, dude. I'm like, I'm old now. My mom's not having any problems, but she's drinking water and doing smart shit. I'm hungover. Already to start with.
You're dehydrated before you woke up.
Before I even got there.
Yeah.
So I'm like sweating like a fucking hog the whole time. All right, let's take some questions and we're going to end this shit. And so the other shows are going to be, we're going to do a player rating show. This is while Brett's in Florida. We're going to do a player rating show, a World Cup roster prediction based on what we know so far. And then we're going to do our goalkeeping dilemma. And there is one, folks. We're also going to take on some quotes from Lawless and Wall that were like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
So Bandit says sentences with words holes and mom should never be spoken.
I guess you haven't played a lot of golf there, Bandit.
Vegas, baby, July and August, 110 in the shade. It's like the Houston and FC Dallas games are like, oh yeah, they're playing it on the field. It feels 110 degrees.
Oh,
like, oh my God,
that's horrible, dude. And I've played some soccer games in some serious heat before, and that's not fun. It really isn't. But holes and like if you play golf with your mom, you're going to talk about the 18th hole or the 9th hole. It's going to happen. It's not a disgusting thing. I asked Max this, and I'll ask you guys this. This is Chris Gary again. Nations League is coming up in the summer, and how would you, or better yet, what do you think Greg will do? Go mostly with domestic guys and sprinkle in Euro guys on the outs, or will he go mostly our A team to build chemistry? I think it's going to be a mix. He might bring a few outliers like Scally, like Sargent, and give them a shot to prove themselves possibly on the practice field. Yeah. Maybe Hoppy.
Yeah. So, again, Greg still, with the U.S., they still have to qualify in the Nations League window, that whatever it is, September or whatever, August, whatever it is. They still have to qualify. In theory, they should. There should be no reason they don't qualify. But I fully suspect he'll go with more or less an A squad. and then bring in, like you said, a couple of outliers. Now, whether or not he'll go mostly domestic, I don't think so, unless a couple players step up or whatever. There'll still be some domestic players, of course.
There are so few times for the U.S. team to get together before this World Cup. He's going to use every opportunity he possibly can to get what he thinks might be the guys that will make the team. And he might mix it around a little, but he's got to use every minute at this point.
I fully suspect that when he more or less brings the A team in, I fully suspect most of these games to be a slaughter. I mean, we've got Cuba and whoever else in our group. I mean, and we got Canada. We got Canada too, though. So I mean, it's whatever. It's like the top 2 people move on from the group, and it's just like
there's no amount of PowerPoints at this point that will help any of the players in the next 8 months. They're going to have to do something very serious, and they're going to have to get a chance. So we'll see. Did Max not answer your question? What did he say?
No. He said he already asked Max. There's no answer to this. He didn't tag Max, so Max was never going to see that.
Okay. I just wondered if Max had answered the question.
We'd have to dig into Chris's history or go into Max's history and find it, I guess, if that was the case.
Who are the 5 players you guys would like to see get a look this summer? List cannot include John Brooks or Joe Scally.
What about John with an H? Anyways, so leaving up Brooks and Scally. Okay. So we mentioned Sargent.
5?
Yeah, this is gonna be
So Sargent, Hoppy, Tessman. I'd give Tessman a look as long as he's playing for Venezia. Mihailovic. Go with Mihailovic?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of anything else, but yeah.
Maybe CCV? Just a look-see?
Yeah, I guess
it's unlikely.
I guess it doesn't. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't necessarily have to be like. Obviously, we talked about Sargent and Hoppy, so clearly not just new players.
That would be my 5. I think I could live with that 5. You can think of others.
I'm thinking right now, but
no, people are going to say like Ledesma and all the guys that play in middle Europe.
Balogun liked Moose's hey, we qualified post on Twitter. So there's still that talk.
Balogun's been good for Middlesbrough so far when they pass it to him, which they don't enough. Sargent, Hoppy, Mihailovic, CCV, Paxton, Aronson. A little early for Paxton.
And I think he's going to be at the U20s during that time period anyways. Or maybe that's beforehand.
Is that
May?
Not an everyday starter for Philadelphia yet, Paxton. So a little more work there to go. Give him a chance to grow some hair on his nuts. He'll get better. But right now he's a boy.
Jay Cool, make sure that you follow all of our videos because we will talk about this in an upcoming video.
Oh yeah, we will. After our 10-minute argument last night on
10 minute. That time flew by a lot faster than that. It was longer than 10 minutes.
Dude, I was like, I'm about to call this motherfucker to end this argument.
And again, going back and looking at it, I really just think that we just had a different concept of where we're talking about time-wise. But we'll talk about that.
At least I was laughing. You weren't.
You'd be surprised how much I was actually laughing.
Well, you should add some LOLs then. Because I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's serious about this shit. I'm like, I'm laughing. He's not laughing. He's not laughing back. Palm McCall, stay healthy, kid. Yeah, he's got no shot. No, I don't. No, he's too injured. Not going anywhere anytime soon. Jonathan can back up Des. I wish.
He's 20s June, July.
I mean, if Jonathan Gomez can not just make bench appearances, yeah, maybe.
Sonora. That'd be a good time to call him up.
Yeah, Alan. Yeah.
Chris, you bastard.
Jonathan Lewis. Jonathan Lewis is lucky if he still has a job after this. Well, we'll see how he does this season.
Well, we'll see.
Last season.
We'll see if DK is even healthy come Nations League. I think he just re-hurt his foot.
Ledesma, I'm sorry, guys. Dude's been injured forever, and he's just.
If he starts getting playing time again with the first team, sure.
Yeah, but yeah, he's got a long ways to go. Long ways. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen in 8 months. I don't think he's going to get the opportunities he needs to state his case. Not loose cunt again.
Oh, yeah, we already did this one. Sorry, I went out of order, so it's kind of threw me for a loop here.
Loose cunt. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
Was good. Yeah.
It's like Amanda Huggins.
Are Miles and Zimmerman good enough passing center backs to not get exposed in the World Cup group stage game? They're not. I don't think they're good enough passers to not get exposed during the goal or the CONCACAF qualifying.
Right.
It was on display last night. I can't tell you how many long balls and through balls that they were lacing that just went straight to Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's just like at this point, Greg's settling for defensive sufficiency.
Defensive speed.
Yes, it's not about passing. He's not expecting his two center backs to do jack crap at this point. Big Harry Jake Paredes, man, that's the sleeper. Could be, but
Could be.
I mean, it's going to have to awaken big time to come out of the sleeper slot stage.
Quit snoozing on us.
Yeah, I mean, could happen. It's like some people said Che. It's like, yeah, well, Che's got to start starting, right? Got to start playing for Hoffenheim. So he's got 8 months to get that, going. That's the problem. 8 months sounds like a lot of time. It's not a lot of time to get going, play a lot of games, and prove yourself at this point. Before a World Cup, where Greg's already got the guys that he likes nuzzling his nuts, the guys that he's already comfortable with. And there are only going to be 26 guys at the most at this point. So is the discussion through FIFA. So that makes it tough. Clayton Paul, now that we're officially qualified for the World Cup, woo! I can finally ask this. During the World Cup, will Greg finally have to answer real questions, or can the Federation still protect him? The Federation isn't necessarily protecting him. I mean, they do that by
they do
it by proxy.
Yeah.
Because if you fuck with them, they will fuck you back. So yeah, I mean, does he have to take real questions? Some guys have asked some real questions lately, which has been great.
I'm honestly surprised those people got questions in the next presser after that.
Yeah,
but
they're back.
I guess the only thing he may have to worry about is when obviously doing any form of presser during the World Cup, he's not just going to be talking to the U.S. press.
Nope, you're going to be talking to the world.
So there'll be all sorts of questions he'll have to address.
So suck it up, Greg.
I guess to give him credit, I feel like he could handle harder questions. I just don't know if USSF wants him to, and so that's why they kind of hold the whole press pass over the head of Access Media.
He's about as good at answering hard questions as Jurgen Klinsmann. That's the problem. If you were Bruce Arena just chuckle. He'll laugh. He'll giggle. He'll give you a fucking bullshit answer. No, it's bullshit, but he's like, I'm feeding you some bullshit. Here you go. And that's the difference between Greg's a very serious person. He's very serious. Unless you talk about shoes, coffee, or apparently North Carolina's basketball team. Rogelia Zavala Cabrera. It's going to be 26 or 23 going to Qatar. It's probably going to be 26, just based on...
all other reports are coming out that way, yeah.
Yeah, just the sort of probably 26, just because we don't know, and we got to let these guys start planning now. So let's just give them the number sooner than later. Jorge Castillo. Sorry. God damn it, my eyes are broken. What are the possibilities of a dual camp with National League players?
Nations League
players.
This is baseball?
Like what? NL? Nations League players. I'm sorry. Nations League's only been around for 1 year. I'm not used to seeing that being framed as NL.
You don't frequent Twitter, so that's
I don't.
How you have to abbreviate shit.
I mean, shit. If this discussion was about Nations League and he put NL, I'd be like, okay, he's talking about Nations League.
Yeah, I got you.
NL, I'm like, what the fuck? What are the possibilities of a dual camp with the Nations League players and the U20s before they leave for Honduras?
So
I don't
June, July
think
camp,
so.
basically.
No, because are you meaning the U20s trip to Honduras? Because I think that's what he's talking about.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure there'll be some sort of dual camp, maybe. But we got a lot of U20s or close to U20s, a little older than that, in our team right now. So it'd be okay if it happened. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the U.S. soccer schedule to that detail to be able to answer that question.
Yeah,
but I think it'd be a neat thing to see.
I could see them having a quote unquote Nations League camp around the same time period, because obviously that's not until August, September area.
Yeah.
So I could see a camp occurring during that time period just to call people in. Maybe another Euro camp and go over there and just test some of the other Euros that aren't getting looked at.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Jay Cool's got it rocking here. $5. He says, can't play out of the back with Miles and Sim. Well, you can't play out of the back on a regular basis. Yes, you can make a few safer passes here. I mean, Zimmerman's hit a couple buttons here and there, out wide. I think he's done some good through passes too. But no, is this going to be as good as Brooks? No. And he says, and also can't do Greg's system where the backs bomb forward with slow Brooks exposed in transition. That's the real problem. Now, does Greg plan to play the same way in the World Cup? I'm going to guess yes. Against most teams, he's going to play his style. I don't think he's going to transition to a more defensive setup. I really don't. I think he's going to play 4-3-3, and he's going to do Greg's Greg, and he's going to Greg it. So you're going to be left without Brooks, and you're going to have to live with Miles and Zimmerman, who I think defensively have been pretty goddamn solid, honestly, except for moments. So,
yep. Jay, cool. Thanks for that. Thanks for that 5. Appreciate that.
Big Harry Jake. That's an interesting question, though, because a lot of guys could play U20 and help get to the Olympics and U20 World Cup.
Yep.
It'd be nice if we started doing that on the regular.
Well, and I will say you could look at, come the U20 World Cup or the Olympics for that matter, that there are players on our national team that could help. You look at Reyna, you look at Musa, Scally could even still qualify for all that, even though he's not in the national team. But but as far as helping them qualify, none of those players will be in there. That U20 is not going to be a FIFA date in that sense. So the qualification aspect is still almost predominantly going to be domestic players, with some of the U20 Euros sprinkled in there that aren't playing for the first team. So Reyna's not going to be helping us qualify for Olympics. Musa's not going to, etc.
Yeah. Who wins a race, Jordan Morse or a snail? Well, on a straight line, Jordan Morse is going to win. But if you ask there to be like an obstacle course as you run through it, left and right, left, right, left, right, the snail might win because Jordan Morse can't cut anymore.
Yeah.
He's not quick. He's just straight in a straight line, and that is it. That is all. He does not trust those knees yet.
Looks like they've answered this question already.
Might take some time for him to get used to cutting again. He used to be quick and fast. Now he's just fast. He's definitely not quick. Definitely not. But we've seen this. We've seen this with other players. We've seen it with other players. Some tragically, actually.
Quantified asked if is it on a high quality stadium, a Qatar stadium turf, or Concacaf field? And he says high quality, heat encompassing Qatar field. And let's see, it's after it's been slightly watered. Let's see, what is the answer here? Races between a snail, distance covered, 1 meter per hour versus Morris World Cup minutes. Then snail gets the win.
Yeah, there are a lot of cuts and maneuvers to make. Yeah, Morris just isn't there yet. Mm-hmm. And he does look like a tank. He does look like he put on a lot of pounds. I'm like at least 10.
Awesome. Maybe his goal is to jump back as a center forward option now. Since,
he was already
since he can't cut and he can only run a straight line. So maybe that's his overall game plan.
He was already thick. Now he's extra thick. So are we done? That's it.
We got all the questions answered there. Yeah. Look at that. 129. Right on time.
129. You're celebrating that? That's like the U.S. celebrating a 2-0 loss to Costa Rica.
Yeah, I mean, we went over.
We aim for an hour. We constantly go an hour and 30.
No. That's the thing, though. It's no longer now. We aim for 30 minutes, Derek.
Hour being acceptable. Hour 30 not acceptable.
It's going to be acceptable because it is the norm at this point.
I know it is the norm. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for showing up and watching this show. We really appreciate the sport. We fucking honestly do. We don't talk about it enough, probably because we're not, a bunch of butt patters. But we want to thank everybody that watches the show, has, bought a Straight Red Card shirt. Thank you for that. I mean, it's helping us. Like, we're growing. We're growing, and we're not growing just out of fucking pure fantasy. We're growing because you're helping us grow.
Yep.
So we appreciate that. We're going to keep talking. We got a lot of stuff to cover coming as we lead up to the next World Cup. Make sure that you share it, like it, subscribe, all those things. If you're not any of those things. And we'll see you for a few more shows. Greg's going. Brett is going on vacation, not Greg. Well, Greg's going on vacation.
I'm sure
too.
Greg's probably going on vacation too. Yeah.
Right after they pull the pots tomorrow and put them into groups. So
Just make a long European vacation trip and catch a couple games. Work and vacay.
Exactly. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card. Good night to you all.
Do it again. Oop. Ah, fuck. And like it. That's way too many likes. I got a comment on a channel. Fuck. Oh. Yeah. That should probably do. It should probably do. That should probably do.
That hurt.
More verticality.